Well, hello, my brothers and sisters. It's Chelle here. And welcome to my podcast, Chelle Talks. Who says you can't? That's right. And I'm your hostess, Michelle Stevens, the hostess with the mostess. So, episode 4 of Who Says You Can't is Who Says You Can't Receive the Gifts of the Universe. That's right. I wanted to expand the real epiphany moment I had while explaining the waiting room period last week. Remember, I had a flashback of being brought up in the Catholic Church, feeling like I was in purgatory. I said, I was feeling like maybe I'm not worthy enough. Maybe I should feel guilty for wanting to put myself first for a change. I did say that. Well, I was also feeling like, the church had frowned upon appearing greedy or selfish or even openly expressive of receiving gifts. Fear of looking or appearing conceited or self-centered. All right, there, I said it. I had to overcome those subconscious limiting beliefs that were inbred in my mind when I was young and from the religious upbringing that I had, that I was just not worthy of receiving the gifts that the universe offered me. What? Really? That was the epiphany moment I had. What? Have you ever had an epiphany moment when you're just like scrolling through your YouTube videos, from people that you used to watch daily videos of, and all of a sudden you come across one and you go, wow, I haven't even watched one of those episodes in about a month now. And that's what happened to me. I listened to this podcaster. His name is Brian Scott, and he's with the Reality Revolution, and I absolutely adore him. He has helped me. I'm so grateful for his podcast because, he's what I'd consider a chosen one. And chosen ones are those that, they share their true, authentic viewpoints of reality. And he does exactly just that. And, I resonate with his message, and he resonates with my soul's path along with my journey for, he's just resonated with me for about a year now. But he really helped me to understand those like deep, profound things within myself. So he posed a question, and it was a question while I had my handle on the door and I was opening that door to the waiting room, and I'm letting myself out of the waiting room right now, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling free, and I'm listening to his video as he asks this question. What is stopping you from receiving all the gifts that the universe has to give you and that's offering you? What? I said to myself. Immediately, my first response was, I'm not resisting any gifts from the universe. I welcome them. But then he stated a couple of other things. He stated, receiving is not a sign of weakness. And then he said, receiving is not selfish. And then he said, receiving does not mean that you have to prove your worthiness. What? Yeah, that's really when I had my epiphany moment. He said, the next thing he said really just woke me up. He said, and I'm going to quote, the true power of receiving lies in the ability to embrace the mindset of graciously receiving any gift without fear of being seen as being greedy or a fear of indebtedness Oh boy, that one hit home for me. Or a fear of vulnerability. Whoa, wait a minute there, buddy. That's what I was saying. How did you know that I felt that way every single time my best friend would help me out financially in these last 4 years? You know, I felt I felt that way. I felt indebted. Nobody was supposed to know that, especially not me. So I took my hand off the handle of the waiting room door for a minute and I thought, is there a connection between being in the waiting room and for the past 4 years and these feelings of indebtedness every time my best friend would help me out financially? Kind of a coincidence that that was the same kind of time frame, 4 years. It would be the same, don't you think? Well, Brian Scott's podcast, The Secret to Receiving, really touched upon the yin yang principles, the principle of giving and receiving. And I have no problem. I have no problem giving whatsoever. It's I just don't have a problem with that part of the aspect. It's the whole receiving part of that aspect that I might have a little bit of a problem with, because Brian stated receiving is a natural part of human experience. That's the other part of the yin. It's the yang. Receiving, you give and you've got to receive, because when you receive, it allows the other people to enjoy the giving experience. So you're giving them a gift when you're receiving their gift. Receiving creates that balance, the yin and yang balance between giving and receiving, because both parties are given the gift from the universe. Receiving a gift, it embraces your vulnerability. It can put you in a vulnerable position, but when you receive it and receive that gift with gratitude and appreciation, instead of feeling indebted because you feel like you're not worthy of receiving the gift, maybe you're not it just takes strength to receive. It's that upbringing, it's that feeling of feeling unworthy, it's that feeling of having to prove yourself. And when you have that feeling of having to prove yourself, then what you're saying to the universe is that I have to prove that I'm worthy to receive this gift. And when you are asking that of the universe, then the universe is just going to continue to keep giving you things until you can learn to receive them with gratitude. And you're not going to be able to move forward. And so maybe that's why for the past 4 years I felt like I've been in this waiting room, because I haven't learned to receive the gifts from the universe because I'm blocking my own gifts. What? I worry that accepting gifts or accepting help or blessings would obligate me to reciprocate in ways that I might not be willing to reciprocate. But I was torn between my limiting beliefs from society's religious views that support giving as being the true virtue, that you should be a selfless giver, shoving that thought that it's better to be a giver than a receiver. That's BS, and they try to shove that down the sheeple's throats. That's people who are just being sheep. And they frown upon receiving by justifying their stance that you could be considered selfish for desiring the gifts, or you could be considered greedy for wanting the gift, or you could be considered weak for receiving the gifts. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to allow anyone or any group to dictate how I should feel and behave when giving and receiving, especially when giving and receiving. And I don't want them to influence my decisions whatsoever. I am my own decision maker, and I can make my own decisions without the influence of society's religious views. We need to balance our inner self and be able to recognize our own inner strength. Recognize our independence to give and learn to receive the gifts that the universe gives us through others with gratitude. That, with not feeling indebted, instead feeling gratitude when somebody gives you something. Because when you do this, it's a win-win situation for you both. You give joy to the giver when you receive the gift. And you create a vibration of a positive attitude and of being appreciative. And, that shifts your vibration from a lack and scarcity mindset to one of abundance for receiving the gifts that the universe is sending you. That's what opens the door to the waiting room. It opens the door to the new possibilities. It creates this exchange of positive energy that benefits all. It benefits the giver and it benefits the receiver. And this is what mindfulness is all about. If you can catch yourself and be mindful of receiving and how you're reacting to receiving a gift, this is where the transformation of all relationships, that's what it's all about. Because you both gain a new perspective and you both gain a new sense of self-worth. And I know that that's something that I've struggled with, is my self-worth. Well, I hadn't been receiving freely. I've been blocking it for 4 years. But by graciously accepting compliments and gifts and blessings with ease and appreciation, you honor that person. You honor the person that's giving you the gift, but you also reinforce your own self of worthiness and your own self of self-value when you receive any gift. And whether the gift is tangible, like a material thing, or it's intangible, maybe it's a blessing or an appreciation, maybe it's a compliment, those are kind of some intangibles, but they're all gifts nonetheless. Acknowledging any opportunity and any kind gesture, as well as, signs of thoughtfulness from others, signifies your sincere appreciation and an authentic, heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for the gift that you're receiving. Because if you fail to acknowledge the gift from the giver, you not only disrupt the balance between the yin and the yang, between the principle of giving and receiving, but you actually steal joy from the giver. And, that's something that I guess I never thought about and that I've been doing for a long time, and I do really regret that. Once I accepted the fact that I was not accepting gifts graciously, I realized that I had to give up the notion that if I acknowledged receiving the gift with sincere gratitude and appreciation, that I didn't have to feel obligated to return the favor anytime that it was requested of me, or feel indebted any longer. I apologized to my best friend sincerely for not acknowledging, verbally my sincerest gratitude for every time he helped me and every time he gave it to me, gave me help. Because, I also pointed out that I would not be constantly giving away my time, myself, and my freedom any longer just to prove my worthiness as a reward for receiving the help that he said he gave me freely. I accept that he has given it to me freely, and I don't have to feel indebted any longer. This, my friends, is a sign of self-awareness. It shows, though, that you're worthy of support. It shows that you appreciate, the valuable contributions that not only you give to others, but that others give to you. And this is what really opens the door to the waiting room. Put your hand on the handle and turn it. And when you release that strong old belief system, like mine, of ancestral religious nonsense that does not need to influence my decisions any longer. And so, you have to just take back control of your own life and your own destiny and open the damn door already and receive all the gifts that the universe has to give to you. So that's what I have to say about giving and receiving this week. So, it's just food for thought. I tell you, I thought about it for a long time, and, it seemed like there was only one side of the coin, the whole giving side of the coin. The receiving side of it, I never realized how important receiving really is. And when you don't receive freely and acknowledge by giving appreciation, then you're just telling the universe that you're not worthy of receiving the gifts that the universe is giving you. So I hope that clears up a few things, and that's what my podcast is about this week. We'll continue this spiritual journey and continue to talk about the things that are holding us back from reaching the other side. Love and light, my friends. I will be chatting with you again next Monday. Shell out for now. Bye.